The 2021 NFL Draft is about a week away. Joined by Paul Dottino, I am John Schmeelk. Mock drafts coming all over the place, folks, and this is when draft boards start getting set, and the information might just start being a little bit more real than fake. So, Paul, let's start with two mock drafts. These both from NFL.com. Maurice Jones-Drew and Charles Davis. They both have the Giants selecting Jalen Waddle at 11th overall. For Maurice Jones-Drew, he has them taking Waddle over both Micah Parsons and Devontae Smith. Surtain off the board in that scenario, Paul. And Charles Davis have the Giants taking Jalen Waddle also over Devonta Smith.
Well, you know, John, I think most people think that the Alabama receivers, both of them, have a real shot to go somewhere in the vicinity of 8 to 12. So to suggest that the Giants would take one of those guys at 11 is certainly not a reach.
That's a sweet spot there, and I really think, depending on which guy you like, is almost a chef's choice scenario there. Very similar players in terms of production, but they win in different ways. And Devontae Smith is concerned about his weight, so that's something that could push him down boards.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. You know, you're going to have that kind of apple or orange thing because even though both guys are very explosive and dynamic, they certainly bring different elements to the table.
Now, I'm going to call this the Paul Dottino mock draft because this is done by Charlie Casserly. Just 3 quarterbacks in the top 10 picks from Charlie Casserly in this scenario. So he has the Giants selecting Kwity Paye over Jalen Waddle. Kwity Paye, the pass rusher out of the University of Michigan, and that's because Parsons off the board, Surtain off the board, or the offensive lineman off the board, Smith off the board, Chase, Pitts, all those guys are gone because, again, only 3 quarterbacks.
The thing that bothers me about that pick is that most of the independent NFL people who I have talked to really agree that the second round is where the best value is for your defensive edge players.
All right, let's go over to Peter Schrager. This is the non-Paul Dottino mock draft. Why? 5 quarterbacks in the top 10 picks, which is good for the Giants. But the pick, a little bit controversial. Rashawn Slater still on the board. Devontae Smith still on the board. He selects J.C. Horn for the Giants, cornerback out of South Carolina, giving them a 3rd cornerback to join James Bradbury and Adoree Jackson, a versatile press man corner. So if the Giants want to play more man, maybe this is the pick. He can play both inside and outside.
Well, John, you know that my pick for the Giants is Patrick Surtain.
He was off the board to Dallas in this scenario, by the way.
And I think that's the scary part for me. I think Dallas is the most likely team to steal him away from my clutches. I will say this. I don't have a problem if they really think that Horn has that kind of upside taking him there because I would put Adoree Jackson in the slot and then play Horn outside. In today's game, you need 4 corners. Darnay Holmes becomes my 4th corner in that scenario. And that would give the Giants one dynamite secondary when you consider what they also have at safety.
Now, the good argument for Horn over Surtain, too, is that Horn is somebody you can play inside if you want, while Surtain, he's only going to be an outside guy. He's not going to go in the slot. So if you have Horn, him or Jackson, depending on the scheme, the matchup, you can play either of those guys inside, which will give you a little bit more flexibility. Finally, Paul, we have a 3-round mock draft. This is the Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, ESPN back and forth mock with them being the GMs. This is not predictive. This is based on who they would select. So in order, 1st round, they have the Giants selecting Devontae Smith out of Alabama. 2nd round, Ronnie Perkins, the edge rusher out of Oklahoma. And then Chaz Surratt in the 3rd round, linebacker out of North Carolina.
Well, you see there's the edge rusher in that 2nd round that we just talked about a couple of moments ago. That's where your best value is. I think we would all agree the Giants could probably add an edge rusher, so why not do it in the round where the most value is? Surratt in the 3rd round's a little surprising to me, John. I don't know how much more depth the Giants need at the interior linebacker spot. But again, if they feel the value is there, you can't blame them for adding defense. As Gettleman says, defense wins championships.
Yeah, Surratt's an interesting prospect. Former quarterback, really fast, a little undersized. Would actually be a pretty good compliment to Martinez and what he does inside based on their athleticism.
Potentially.
But again, 3rd round, who knows going to be on the board? It's tough to predict what's going to happen 90 picks into the NFL draft. For Paul Dottino, I'm John Schmeelk. Thanks for being with us as we continue to look at mock drafts around the NFL.